Okay, so first of all, good evening, everyone. My name is Andrey.
I'm Joyce.
My wife, Joyce.
Evening.
First of all, we would like to thank you for being here tonight. It was a very rainy day, and you still braved the storms to be here with us and to listen to us. So we are very, very appreciative of that. If you don't know, the theme for this month is all about peace. For tonight, we will be talking about peace in the family. Okay, so there are a lot of thoughts when you hear peace in the family. So we'll see if your thoughts are the same with what we will present tonight. Okay, so the title of our talk tonight is Changing Direction. Okay, so we'll elaborate more why that's the title. So, you want. Okay, so peace. When we thought of the word peace, the first word that we associated with peace is the word calm. So when we search the definitions of calm, these are the two things that really resonated with us. Number one is still, and the next is free from agitation, excitement, or disturbance. So when we think about those words, these are the usual pictures that that comes to mind. Meditating, especially in the beach, stillness of water, and a sleeping baby in the father's arm. Who are fathers here? This is the ideal situation, right? Okay, so, but as we all know, these are our expectations, but reality could differ. So our expectation is, what is a peaceful family? Usually it looks like this. When we post photos, people tend to say, "Ang galing nyo naman, you could get your kids to sit still, to smile," but sometimes they cooperate, but sometimes what we post is one out of like 25 photos. So there are 24 other photos that they're not looking at the camera, they're crawling out of our arms. So this is the expectation, but the reality is something like this. Okay, so, or something like that. So before we dive into our family life, or how we maintain the peace, or how we found peace in our families, first we'll start with me and Joyce. So we'll start with our similarities as partners, as people. So we both love to dance. We were both professional dancers once upon a time. Promise kami yan, even if you don't see our faces, that was us. We both love to have fun. We have the same humor. Again, promise, that's me, even if you don't see my face. So we enjoy the same things, kalokohan, jokes. We both love to sing. And basically the arts in general. We love to watch musicals. We love to sing musicals. In general, the artistic side, we're both creative people. And there.
So, of course, we also are very different from each other. So he's very outgoing, and I'm the shy one. Yeah, if you get to know us, you'll find out that he's really the more outspoken one. So ako yung talagang lang. Yan, he's more expressive and I'm more reserved. And he's more impulsive and I'm reflective. And we also have different parenting styles. And we also have different ways of handling an argument.
Yes, so before I present to you some wisdom from Master Choa, usually when you start courting someone, if you like someone, you want that someone to be your boyfriend or your girlfriend, husband or wife, usually you think that, what, when I get to be with that person, my life will be easier, happier, It will be smooth sailing because I will be with that person that I think I will jive with. But reality check from Master Choa, the closer you interact with the person, the more psychological friction you will experience. It's true. Based on experience, that's true. You think about, all these fluffy feelings when you're still courting, but when you're actually there, you're with them 24/7, you will experience this. So how do we handle our differences? Pre-pranic healing, pre-arhatic yoga, we usually react without really thinking about the issue. We let our emotions get the best of us. And it's not that we were just reacting just for the sake of reacting. I have a point, she has a point, but, we would let our emotions rule over our relationship. And we avoid talking about the root of the issue. As Master Faith would always say, uproot the root. But we don't want to do that. Maybe because we're also afraid that if we go deeper into the issue, the fight will become bigger. And we just rinse and repeat. Because of the second point, all of it will just repeat. And in marriage, you love a lot and forgive a lot. Love is the lubricant. So, we were like that before, but then in 2016, something happened. I experienced a panic disorder. I experienced chest pains for 4 months. I didn't know what was happening. I thought for every day for 4 months, I thought I was going to die that day. I was being rushed to the ER because of that. So, cut the long story short, this story is another talk. So, I discovered pranic healing. I was healed. I took the courses. When I got to Arhatic yoga, the class, let's take it because all the healers are telling me it's an interesting class. So, okay, I'll just take it. But then when I took Arhatic yoga, because of those 5 virtues which are emphasized in those classes, there was a change. And that change it wasn't a self-realization. That change came from her. I mean, the realization came from her. She told me that there was something. And maybe because she felt that, the way we handle things are now different. So because of that, she wasn't into pranic healing before. She didn't, show some interest in taking the classes. But I just told her, try the basic course. She tried the basic course. And then she took the advanced class, psychotherapy, achieving oneness with the higher soul. And now she's also already an Arhatic yogi. And because of that, things changed in our relationship. Things changed in our house. For some reason, we could not pinpoint when it happened because it wasn't instant, but we just realized that because of Master's teachings, because of the wisdom that we get from the books, the classes, especially Arhatic yoga, things changed between us.
So now, this is how we handle our differences. As much as possible, we are now having the courage to have those difficult conversations, no matter how awkward or how uncomfortable it is. Especially me, that I try to avoid arguments, I try to avoid fights. I would just rather okay, let's just end this, wag na lang. Pero that just ends up being, parang it's a pent-up emotion. You just have resentment inside you. And then I realized that you really have to talk about it and really delve into the issue para mapag-usapan talaga and you don't repeat it. And being a truth teller, meaning we call each other out if we're already being hurtful to each other. But this doesn't mean that we're always looking at each other's mistakes. This means that we just want them to be aware of the mistakes that they made. Yun. So Master Cho also said that sometimes when you are insulted, the pain causes you to improve yourself and therefore you develop. So when someone calls you out, admittedly, diba, sometimes it hurts or you feel irritated. Why did he say that to me? Ganun. Pero if you really try to understand and become aware of what he said, then you know, especially if it comes from Niko, from Andrey, I know that he loves me. I know that, I trust him. So after reflecting on it, I know that he only wants the best for me. So I try not to take it personally, but I take it seriously so that next time it won't happen again. And also, yeah, that one. Doing the inner work. So that's what I'm saying. You have to, instead of sulking and telling yourself na, why can't he be like this? Why can't, he should have done this? He should have done it. Instead of asking myself that, I always, those situations I now see as a lesson to be learned. That in this situation, why did that happen? What should I learn from that? How can I be a better wife to Andrey? How could I respond to him in a more loving way? So, and to be able to catch yourself, to ask those questions, it takes practice. It's not automatic. So, for us, when we fight, hindi naman automatic yan na, I love agad, ganon. It's not automatic. It really takes practice and you always have to be in that meditative state to be able to catch yourself to be like that.
So another way that we handle our differences is by meditating. You've experienced the meditation on Twin Hearts. At first, I also thought that, let's meditate. It's what we do here. But as you do it more regularly, like months, you will notice that things change. And not just you. Things around you change for some reason. Maybe it's the energy that you generate. You attract more of what you become. And especially in Arhatic yoga, where you have more meditations. So it really addresses all the aspects of your life. Not just the physical health, emotional health, your prosperity, if you have problems with your finances. It's all addressed there and it slowly just changes you. So when we both became Arhatic yogis, we see to it that we meditate regularly, although not as often as we did because now we have 2 kids. And well, not just because of 2 kids. We have a 9-month-old who needs a lot of attention, but we still schedule it regularly that we meditate because we've already experienced a change. And we're now actually afraid that if we don't meditate, we might slide back. So it's really something that we prioritize as a couple.
There. And lastly, we have learned that we need to be masters of our emotions and not be a slave to it. So instead of being in a state of anger, irritation, or all those negative emotions, you would tell ourselves that we have to recognize that we have the power to change what we're feeling and that we can do something and turn things around. So you can say that, I'm not my emotions. And how do you do that? Just try to act the way you want to feel. So try it, and little by little, those negative emotions will go away. It's you.
Okay, in a relationship, the lubricant is love. In the form of loving thoughts, loving feelings, loving words, and loving actions. You need to have more loving kindness and greater understanding. So, there, Master Cho just put an exclamation mark on what Joyce said. it's really, you need to, what do you call this? It's a deliberate decision to use love in a relationship. It doesn't come automatic. It's not a feeling. When you're fighting, the negative feelings are the more prevalent emotions. So you really need to be deliberate about choosing these loving thoughts, loving actions, loving words. So now we go to, the lessons learned as parents. Master Choa said family life is one of the fastest ways to spiritual development. Inevitably, there is relationship friction. You develop self-sacrifice, self-control, patience, flexibility, and tolerance. So I was sharing to one of the Arhatic yogis, Maki, because in his talk, he also used this quote from Master Choa. And I said that we weren't able to meditate as often as we would want to. So I was thinking, my spiritual development maybe slowed down a bit. And then Master Choa tells me that, that family life is one of the fastest ways to spiritual development. So now we see our kids as gifts when they're being irritable. Instead of being annoyed, like, why are they behaving this way? We're treating it as, it's a gift from God to help us develop faster, to develop patience faster. Yes, because that's my, that's what I'm working on, especially with 2 kids in the house now. So there.
So, yes. So, that's what Andrey said. Our kids, they're part of our spiritual practice.
Yes.
Because you're constantly challenged to have that composure. Whenever they trigger us, whenever they annoy us, whenever they're both of us want, diba? They really want the attention. So sometimes it's hard also. But you have to ask yourself, what happened? Where did this feeling come from? Why am I feeling this way? Diba? If you want to be a conscious parent, you have to really do the inner work. You have to introspect why their behavior triggers us. So if, for example, they're having a tantrum, these challenges, these are a call for help, especially the little children, because they don't know how to express themselves yet. They don't know how to describe, or they can't control their actions yet. So when they're having a tantrum, it means, Mama, help me, I can't stop. Or if they're hitting, they're saying, help me, I can't, because I can't stop. Or, sometimes when they just keep on crying, maybe it means they're tired. So really, it really takes a conscious parent awareness to really see what their behaviors are telling us. And sometimes it really takes a calm leader, yes, so that they know that they will know that that we as parents are capable of taking care of them. And of course, as parents, our dream is for them to grow up to be kind-hearted people, to have empathy, to have all those values to equip them when they grow up. But in order for them to have those values, we also need to model those values. So we have to set the example, diba? It has to come from us. So that's where what we were emphasizing, that we always have to do the inner work. We always have to ask ourselves, what do we need to improve on as parents, so that our children will grow up to be kind, will grow up to have empathy for other people. Yeah. And lastly, is for us to see that each of them are unique. So we don't look at them as children that we can control, but rather we see them for who they truly are. So what works for Basti may not work for Alonso. And in the same way, what may have worked for us may not work for them. So we can't say na ganito kami dati. This is how we grew up. Ganito yung pagpapalaki sa akin. Ganito ako nung bata ako eh. Then it's a disservice to them because they're being compared to what we have experienced or what we are. So this is where we need to stop and observe who they really are, because they each have their own unique identity. And being a parent is a great responsibility. It takes a lot of presence and really being purposeful if you want your children to grow up feeling worthy, validated, and loved.
Oh. So again, words of wisdom from Master Choa. Do you know why you have children? It is so you can develop your heart. Children tend to ask, and as a parent, you just give, and give. I would like to qualify this quote because it may be misinterpreted by people that, spoil your kids when they ask, give. For me, there's actually a deeper meaning to this. Children tend to ask, and ask. What's important is, like what Joyce said earlier, when they're crying, they're actually calling for help. So you need to listen, not just physically, but you need to be attuned to what your children are asking for. And as a parent, just give, and give. Don't give what you thought that, when I was a kid, this was what was given to me, so I'll just pass it on. Be attuned. Be sensitive to what they're really asking for. Like, for example, a lot of people would say that, I'm working hard so that, I could buy all the things for you. We could spend a lot of time when I retire, or we could go on trips. But maybe what they're asking for is, Papa, play with me right now for 10 minutes. Play with me right now with that Happy Meal toy that we just bought. But maybe for you, no, I'm going to work. I'll be with you later because this is for our future. And, you're not really listening to what they're asking for. So for me, that's the deeper meaning. That's what I got from Master Choa's quote. And, so we just, rambled for about a couple of minutes. And this is just, what we wanted to say is, we started this talk with, showing you expectations, the ideal. What would people think of when you say we have a peaceful family?
Family goals.
Yeah, family goals, like everyone's calm, everyone's happy all the time, everyone's on the same page all the time. But actually, the real meaning of peace in the family is knowing that nobody's perfect. You are not perfect. Your parents are not perfect. They're all good people. They are not perfect. They, like you, are also growing. We are all in the process of evolving. It's not according to me, it's according to Master Choa. And when you accept this, if you truly believe, or if you truly subscribe to this quote of Master Choa, then you will have true peace in your family. Because real peace in the family is not about, no fights, no arguments. It's being able to accept that we are all different, and we are all, we have flaws. We're not perfect. So when something is irritating, you just accept, understand, talk about it, and just use love to settle everything.
And also, peace in the family is knowing that obstacles are part of life. You must flow like water. Learn to let go in order to flow with the situation. This is also Master Choa's words. So in knowing those things, that obstacles are part of our life, we know that life is always changing. There are ups and downs. There are good days and bad days. Diba? And it's learning how to navigate those not so good days that we achieve peace.
So, thank you for listening to our talk, and peace be with you all. There it is.
Come here, kuya.
So, say thank you for listening. Say thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So they both look like me.
Wow.